How's it going, guys? I'm Aaron from PhoneDog.com. Yeah, BlackBerry's pretty much dominated the wireless conversation, at least for the past couple of weeks when it comes to review devices, because they just released a bunch of handsets. But that's not stopping us from doing a dogfight between two hot Android phones that are on the market right now. The Motorola PHOTON 4G is one of those phones, and it's available now at Sprint for $200, and it's arguably Sprint's flagship device. Dual-core processor, 8-megapixel camera, 4.3-inch high-resolution display, global roaming capabilities, and more. We're putting it up against the Samsung Infuse 4G on AT&T. 4.5-inch display, so super big display, single-core processor, but 8-megapixel camera as well. So these are arguably two flagships on AT&T and on Sprint. Which one is going to take the gold? We'll find out in the dogfight. First, special thanks to my buddies at Best Buy, because you get cool phones like this in our One Paw Bandit game because they hook us up with some awesome phones. So when you go into Best Buy Mobile, you'll walk out working. They'll help you set up your email, your web, help you get your camera set up. All those settings on your phone, you'll be good to go when you walk out at Best Buy Mobile. Let's take a look at these and see which one is the dogfight champion. So loaded up the Android market on this one. I want to show it the differences between the new Android and the old Android market. Excuse me, because I hadn't started this one up in a while and it's still reflecting the old one. So you can see the difference here. Here's the new one, here's the old one. You can see it's really more colorful over here. I like this look where they've done kind of a Metro UI-ish look, kind of like Windows Phone 7, where they have all these squares and rectangles that are different sizes, so it draws your attention to particular places. But you can see it's a one-stop shop now for apps, games, books, and movies. So I can go in here, I can take a look at movies if I want to, and they're all color-coded, you know, red, blue, green, and also green, but you can see featured up here, and I can search directly there. But we'll go into apps and take a look, and then let's see, this one's probably going to kick me out in just a minute, because it's, to my knowledge, they've all been updated to the recent Android market, and if not, you should be getting it soon. But just to show you the difference here, you can scroll over between the top free, top grossing, top paid, and so we can see here top free, and we'll bring that in so you can see over here. So we have YouTube. We'll just pull up YouTube, for example, and you can see the differences. We'll pull up backgrounds over here just to do a head-to-head comparison. You can see the logo, you can share it, you can search for something else, you can open, uninstall, or of course if you don't have it installed, it'll just say free, accept, and install. You have your screenshots here, you can allow automatic updating, rate and review, see what's new, you got your description, which you can expand upon if you want to, and you can go down to reviews, your videos, developers related market content, and then of course here's what it looks like and landscape, so you can see. So it's a much better, much more organized Android market. This one's still, you know, this one looks nice and it's decent, you have the screenshots, but I feel like this is more organized, and with where Android market is now, I feel like it's it really does a good job for the platform. So it looks good, and then of course you have all these little squares which you can see, scroll up and down through there, see all the free applications, and scroll right over pretty easily. If you don't have that yet, you should be getting it, I mean, immediately or within the next couple of days, but I believe it's been rolled out to every Android device, and I think when I cancel out of this and start back up, it'll probably bring up the new Android market. So we'll take a look and see, and it looks like it is. But you can see that's the new Android market. It definitely looks good, and we'll, I guess not. Okay, so maybe they're not rolled out to everybody yet, or maybe this one just needs to be, the cache needs to be cleared. But you get the idea between the old one and the new one. I think the new one looks much better. Let's take a look at browsers on these, and we'll load up PhoneDog on both so you can see the pinch to zoom capabilities. And keep in mind, I'm running on Wi-Fi rather, so this isn't a network test. This is specifically a browser test. So we'll come into PhoneDog.com, load that up, and see. Now obviously, you have your QHD display over here, 4.3-inch QHD display. It utilizes PenTile. I'm going to try to get this in as close to the screen as I can so you can take a look at what PenTile looks like up close, and you can see that there's some pixelation. That's a big thing here. PenTile is really bright and really looks good, but you'll notice, and I'm trying to stop moving my hand so you can see, the pixelation is pretty serious. Like you look up there at the signal strength indicator area, and you can see some pixelation in comparison to a Super AMOLED Plus display where you get in pretty close and there's less pixelation. So it still looks better, and you really notice when you have two devices like this side by side, you really notice the pixelation, but it's personal preference. This one's much brighter, this one's easier to read outdoors, but the Super AMOLED Plus has a great color to it. You don't have to worry about the pixelation. So it's personal preference, but with both of these you get large displays, 4.3-inch over here, 4.5, and then we'll load up. Now that we're loaded, you can see the pinch to zoom. Very, very fast, and this is gingerbread, obviously. Flash advertising is running in the background. But you can see very responsive and much better than, you know, when we started testing these Android browsers years ago. They've made some significant improvements, and overall the web browsing experience is much better. Now I can double tap, zoom out, double tap to zoom in, and of course I can transition. And again, you get that nice Motorola transition effect, whereas again over here, it's a very blocky transition effect. And we'll go ahead and load up the flash advertisements there. And then you can see again, very, oops, do not want to load up HTC. I want to keep it on Phone Dog for right now. Oops. And you can see pinch to zoom just impressive over here on the Infuse. So even though it's running that single core processor and you're seeing some checkerboarding, it's much more fluid. So it's one of those things, this one seems to run a little bit faster overall, but it just doesn't seem as fluid. Take a look at that in comparison to that and just see the fluidity difference. So all in all, it looks good. Now one thing that really irks me about, and let me see if this one actually has the issue that the Droid Charge has. I'm curious to see if it does. 4 windows. Yeah, I thought I did. Okay, you can only load 4 windows in TouchWiz 3.0. Once you get to 4, you're out of luck. You have to cancel some of your windows, which is kind of frustrating. You're like, why in the world do they limit it like that? It's just a TouchWiz anomaly, and you see once I cancel those out, I can load it right back up. But I have a maximum of 4 internet windows that I can see at any time, whereas over here, I can load up as many windows as I want to. Now you can see the difference here. This shows the text, whereas this shows a page preview, which I happen to like a little bit better. It shows me where I left off, whereas this is more stock Android and just gives you kind of a standard look. So personal preference, but still, I still happen to like the browser on both of these equally well. Let's take a look at the camera. 8 megapixel on both of these. So we'll do a little unofficial test here and take a look at which one comes out the best. We're going to pull up the Sprint BlackBerry Bold as our test unit here. We're going to get in pretty close. Now, like I said over here, the physical camera button is nice, but there's no autofocus option. You press it and it's going to automatically take the picture. So if you want to do autofocus on your own, you have to bring it in by pressing the on-screen button. And then we'll click that. We'll do another one just so you see. No, no, it's a pretty decent image. It's not going to be the best in the world, but you can see that's what that looks like. Now we'll hold that over there and we'll do a comparison shot, which doesn't have a physical camera button, but we'll do a comparison shot on the Infuse 4G and press and hold and get it to zoom in. That's not zoomed. I don't know why it's not. It doesn't seem to want to zoom in. There we go. Nope, nope, blurry. I don't know why it's not going. It's coming out like that. Let's see here. So all in all, I think this one's 8 megapixel. Oh, there we go. Perfect. Okay. 8 megapixel camera, but I had more issues, and in my testing as well, I had more issues with the autofocus, as you can clearly see here. But then when the picture does come out well, it comes out exceptionally well. You can see here, it looks good, bold, it's easy to read. So the camera quality is better on the Infuse 4G, but that said, I like the autofocus better on the Photon 4G. So it depends on if you're doing a lot of close-up shots, you're doing a lot of kind of extended shots, taking pictures of friends outside. I think this is a better camera. Whereas with this, the autofocus is better, so if you're looking to zoom in, it's a little bit of a better camera. Let's take a look at applications too, and let's do a quadrant standard test and get an idea as to the speeds. Now, let's load that up, and we'll wait for those to load. Now, interestingly enough, call quality has been pretty good on both of these. The earpiece is nice and loud. Motorola's wireless radio is killer, and if you're in a Sprint area where you may have fringe reception or may have issues with reception, you're in a fringe area, the Photon 4G is going to be the phone to get. I've never worked with a wireless radio as good as the one on the Photon 4G. It's very impressive, and then the Infuse works really well as well. Say that 3 times fast. On AT&T, and I've been really pleased with the earpiece and the overall volume and speaker quality on it as well. So both are great. I took these to their respective dead spots. The Sprint one's in Northeast Charlotte. The AT&T one I tested is kind of just outside of Uptown Charlotte, and both performed reasonably well. They were both kind of choppy, although this one had 1 or 2 bars of service most of the time. So I compare that to something like the Evo 3D, which doesn't do as well in the reception department. And this is your winner if you make a lot of phone calls for work, you travel a lot, and you need something with great wireless reception. But you can see quadrant standard is in now, 1,101 on the Infuse, and then over here, 2,338. Now keep in mind, 1, that's not always indicative of day-to-day performance. 2, this one has a dual-core processor, this one has a single-core processor. So keep that in mind, but both in day-to-day performance are reasonably fast. I do see more speed overall out of the Photon 4G though, and it's going to run a network speed test, but obviously that's really not relevant since I can't get the AT&T one to load up. What I will caution you about with Sprint, their 4G is pretty decent and the speeds are pretty decent overall in my area. In the Charlotte metro area, at least, in Orlando and New York, where I've carried a Sprint phone, I've had some issues lately with their 3G. It's very, very slow, so keep that in mind when you go into the store. And actually, I'm going to kick it off of Wi-Fi so you can see the 3G issues that I've been facing here and in other cities as well. So it's definitely not just a Charlotte thing. It's happening in some major markets nationwide. We'll load up speed test on this one. Take a look so you can see Greensboro. We'll begin the test. And maybe it'll be good, you know, hopefully it'll be a good one this time. But even with full service, I've been really having some data issues. So watch me say that and this be a perfect test. But I've really been averaging between like 0.20 and about 0.6, right where it's at right now. This is on the higher end out of what I've seen during the day. So something to keep in mind, you know, if you use your phone for a lot of data intensive stuff, 3G isn't that fast. If you're not in a 4G area, you may want to look at another carrier. You may want to look at the Infuse 4G. Wait for that to load up. And so you can see about 0.83 megabits per second. So keep that in mind. Again, you know, if you use your phone for a lot of data stuff, it is a little slow on 3G. Now 4G is a little bit better though, so just something to keep in mind. Both of these devices are awesome devices, and honestly, you know, battery life's been pretty decent on both. And I'll show you what the battery looks like. On this one, it's a 1750 milliamp hour device. 1750 milliamp over here, 1650 over here. Now it's pretty negated by the fact that this is a bigger display than this one. So you know, with moderate use, I've gotten about a day out of both of these. I don't really see any benefit to either one. That said, you know, battery's pretty decent. Moderate use, you're going to make it about a day. Light use, should make it about a day and a half. But if you use it a lot, you're going to want a car charger. So honestly, both of these are great devices, but only one can win in the dogfight. So obviously, I'm declaring, you know, based on specs and power, it's going to the Photon 4G. I just think this device is a class act. It really does a great job. Sprint's 3G data speeds are having severe issues, but on a device and device test alone, this device performs exceptionally well. It has a decent camera, has a kickstand, has global roaming capabilities, has the latest build of Android, has the latest build of Motorola's applications platform, just loaded to the gills with specs, dual-core processor, front-facing camera. So all in all, it's a good device. And you know, that $200 price point, it reminds me a lot of the Evo 4G, at least in terms of specs. It's just a classy, all-around, awesome device on the nation's third largest wireless carrier. Now this is a good device as well, and it's nice to see AT&T expanding their Android lineup. You know, they have the LG Thrill coming, they have this, the Atrix, and the Infuse, or the Inspire rather. So there's a little bit for everybody. If you want that big display, this is going to be a great device for you. Reception's decent on this, battery life's decent. I think you'd be very pleased with it. That said, I'm a little disappointed that it hasn't been updated to Gingerbread. It hasn't been updated to TouchWiz 4.0. And when you just compare these apples to apples, and you're like, which one has the newest features, which one has the best software, the Photon 4G definitely takes the cake. Much more coverage to come on PhoneDog.com with both of these devices, so let me know what you think. You think I'm crazy? You think the Infuse should have won? You think I'm smart? The Photon's the best phone ever? Hit me up on Twitter, PhoneDog_Aaron, and let me know. And also let me know on my personal Facebook fan page at Facebook.com/PhoneDogAB. Be sure to like PhoneDog on Facebook as well, because we're doing an awesome contest called the Greatest Tech Giveaway Ever, where we're giving you the opportunity to win a BlackBerry Playbook, an Apple iPad 2, a Samsung Galaxy Tab 10.1, and an HP touchpad for as long as they last. Take a look at that, Facebook.com/PhoneDog. Thanks so much for watching. Keep it locked on the site, because we're always doing some awesome dogfights just like this. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.